Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to you. It's a pleasure to talk to you once again. My name is Nick, it's the Friday chat, it's Friday. Unless you're not watching this on a Friday, then I guess it must be a different day. Now, you know, the schedule's all been up in the air this week, for the last couple of weeks, as I scrabble around in retailing, but this is old news, with shifts that are just chucked at me at any old time. But the channel will go on, well, as long as I can do it, which hopefully is forever. Got a bit of a tickly throat every now and again, which I tend to suffer from, but I'll solve it with this orange drink. No, it's red. I think it's some apple and blackcurrant that I picked up. That's not too bad. Okay, so I'm filming this as usual before I'm running into work. So if you're watching this live as it goes up, I'll probably be working, doing something or other. There might be a few edits in this video if I get a bit of a cough. Hooray, 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 and light's coming in through this window, so it might flicker around a bit. If the channel ever was full time, it would all be perfect, and I'm in a perfect studio, so this bit of my face might be a bit lighter than this side of the face, if indeed it isn't too dark in the first place. But we can still have a bit of a chat, regardless. My name is Nick, by the way, you absolutely knew this. So these Friday chats, ideally, I'd like to be going for a walk, but I'll talk a bit of nonsense. We'll have a recap on the games that have gone up in the week. So if you've missed them, you get a chance to have a look at them again or for the first time. Typically, we do about 6 games a week, which we look at there. This one has been no different. There's a compilation in there as well on the Super Nintendo, and that's sort of like, well, 6 games in one, I think, so that's good, of the classic arcade stuff. So I hope you're well, hope you've had a good week. The stress busting will continue. The live streams have taken a hit for the last few weeks there, but you know, I'll try and squeeze as much as I can do. So thank you to the members, which potentially are making me get to it, but it's just time. More time you have, the better videos you can have, the better editing you can do, and the better overall presentation. The members video a few weeks ago was a cut above the rest of the normal ones, so thank you members, and then it dropped down to just a normal post again. But, you know, managing of time and all that sort of stuff. So what games have we looked at this time around? Well, 6 again. ZX Spectrum, if you haven't seen that. The first one we looked at was Defenders of the Earth. It's a 2D shooter where you control Flash Gordon. What I didn't like about this game is respawning enemies, a bit like a game called Black Lamp, where the enemies just keep going over and over and over and over again. But essentially, you're against Ming the Merciless. You're Flash Gordon, as I said. You can call on the other members of the Defenders of the Earth, which is a cartoon I didn't know about back in the day, to open doors, crack computer terminals, all that sort of stuff. There's Mandrake the Magician, Lothar, a very strong person, and Ziffy and someone else. But anyway, so that's that mob. The other game, which is a classic, which people have been telling me to review for a little while now, so I'm glad I eventually got to it. It's like a bit like Saberwolf in design, or Firelord, those sort of ones. It was a Robin of the Wood. Robin of the Wood. Basically, you're Robin Hood, running around the forest of Sherwood, hitting Normans over the head. Now, there is an aim to this game, which I always review these games from the standpoint of your first or second go. But essentially, you need to do more than what I was doing. There's a witch in the woods that will steal your money, but the quest basically, regardless of how you do it, is to try and find the silver arrow. There's speech in this game too, which comes a little bit repetitive, as does the music, but if I had this game back in the day, I would have actually loved it. So thank you to everyone that recommended Robin of the Wood, which is pretty good. There was quite a lot of Robin Hood sort of like TV shows back on during the day as well there. Right, okay. And the other ZX Spectrum game we looked at was a homebrew. On Wednesday, we always look at homebrews. This is a platformer again, as most of them tend to be, but it is a pretty good platformer, so hooray for that. It's Marsmare, Alienation, come out a couple of years ago, I think now. Was it 2017? I think it might be 2020. I don't know. I'd have to look up my notes. But a good use of colour and graphics here. It's all about collecting objects to advance to other areas of the map. There's a spacesuit to get, which I didn't quite get in the review, but if I had another go now with a walkthrough, I'd probably get a bit further there. So yeah, Marsmare Alienation, well worth tracking down. These modern day homebrews are pretty special. If any of these had come out in the 80s, it would have blown us away. People and compilers have got a little bit better now, and you know, really, really good what they actually provide there. So that was Marsmare Alienation. So they were the 3 ZX Spectrum games we looked at this time around. The next 2 games I'm going to describe to you, they got the titles make you think it's another game entirely. Anyway, the first one was Warzone. No, not Warzone by Core, but one we might come to at some stage. This is Warzone really early in the Commodore Amiga's run, 1986, 1987. I think that's basically when the Commodore Amiga come out. It looks a bit like an 8-bit game, looks a bit like a NES game or a Commodore 64 game. It's basically you're controlling a tank, just a bit like that toy Big Track, vertically up the screen, Warzone, and you must avoid all the enemies, shoot, and basically it's to survive as long as you can as the screen scrolls. If you get stuck behind the scenery, the scenery won't, the scrolling won't wait for you, and you get kaboomed that way. So it's an interesting game from a historical point of view, but not really one you'd want to go back and spend too much time on now. And the last game, oh no, it wasn't the last game, the Atari 2600, we looked at this game, then it's the last game. It's a game called Gauntlet. No, it's not Gauntlet from the arcade, it's not that maze multiplayer game where one of you's a wizard, one's an elf, and you battle zombies and ghosts and stuff to find an exit. This is a endless running game. Temple Run was to come later, but Gauntlet, you control a cowboy type character who's running up the screen, jumping over stuff, basically, that's it really. Survive as long as you can, don't bump into the scenery. It's got quite a novel life meter. I think that was quite novel back in the day for the Atari 2600. Have a strengthometer rather than losing lives straight away, which is quite nice to see. Now, my favourite game of the week, there's been a few good ones here, but only because it's a compilation of classic arcade games. So if you're into your arcade gaming, this is one really to look at. Super Nintendo, I think it also came out on the Mega Drive as well. Might look at that a long time later down the line. Arcade's Greatest Hits, Atari Collection Volume 1. And it gives you Asteroids, Battle Zone, Centipede, Missile Command, Super Breakout, and Tempest. Now, Tempest is the one I knew the least. It's well worth catching up there. Centipede is a game I've never played before. Probably you can tell by the review, but the Asteroids and Battle Zone are pretty good. There's a Battle Zone on the ZX Spectrum, which I need to come to at some point to compare that, but all classic games. So if you're into your retro stuff, then that is one to have a look at. All good games in there, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it. There you go. So that's all the sort of stuff. What's been going on in the world? Well, from a UK point of view, it's going to happen eventually. Prime Minister politics, Boris Johnson has finally stepped down. Well, has he? He said he's resigning, but I think he's still there. Who's going to want that job? It seems to be a succession at the moment of prime ministers that don't last very long, since David Cameron from Conservative. Nick, you're talking politics in a retro gaming show. Well, you know, I like to have a brief discussion about stuff, but it's an impossible job, isn't it? How do you be prime minister when you got Brexit, COVID, the Russian war, rising inflation? I try not to think about inflation, the cost of prices and things going up. Apparently, I don't have this particular butter, so I'm not affected. People are complaining about Lurpak butter going up. Now it's about £7.50 for a large tub. It's like gold dust, isn't it? Last week it was £6.90, now it's £7.50. When's that going to stop? I don't have the deluxe butter, so I say people complaining about it, just have a margarine spread like I have. Makes like Flora and Clover seem to be holding their value. They're not going up drastically. So are you a butter or a margarine spread sort of person? I go for the cheap stuff. Hooray. But I £7.50 for a tub of butter. That's just stupid. I wouldn't want to do that. So how are you finding your household bills? You find it a bit hard to cope with? I mean, I know from working at a supermarket, if you go quite late in the evening, or a few hours before the store's shut, they will have stuff that's reduced, sometimes ridiculously so. Our store, it's like yellow sticker items. So sometimes you can pick up bacon for about 20p or something like that. Basically, it's all to do with the expiry dates, but you put it in, make sure it looks okay, but if you put it in the freezer, that's going to extend the life. You can get good deals on fruit and vegetables quite often. Potatoes, if the store's got too many, it gets reduced. It's all about coming in at the right time. You can make big savings on your shopping. Nick, you talk about politics and shopping. Yeah, I know. Well, what can you do? What can you do? Hopefully I've got time to edit this video and actually get it up. Otherwise, you're watching it on Saturday, and I'll have to call it a Saturday chat rather than a Friday chat. There's not enough hours in the day. Are you busy? Are you employed? Are you self-employed? Do you have a number of jobs glued together? Well, as you know, my situation, I have. Well, because I can't survive on YouTube alone, although it's gradually improving slowly. Thank you to the members. But basically, so I have like my supermarket job and then glued together to this YouTube job. But I think I need another side hustle as well. But then, of course, I've got even less time to run this. But anyway, don't sweat the small stuff. Now, in my loose free time that I've got available after all this stuff. When I say free time, it's probably when I'm laying in bed before I go to sleep for about an hour. I've been watching a box set of stuff. It's probably not a box set of stuff that you're watching. It's on the BBC iPlayer. It's quite highbrow. It's a show called QI. It's hosted, well, it was hosted by Stephen Fry on the BBC. They got overtaken by Sandy Toxic. But I've been going through all of them from the very first series. QI stands for quite interesting. It's not your normal quiz show like Celebrity Juice or anything like that. It's quite clever but funny as well, and they give you facts. You've got to know they're true or not and all that sort of stuff. Apparently the Earth's got more than one moon. Did you know that? Well, apparently that is the case. The Earth's got more than one moon. And there's like comedians on there. Alan Davies is a regular. There's Rich Hall. The late Sean Locke's turned up there a lot, and it's good to see the banter. Joe Brand. Lots of occurring guests there. Rob Brydon. So it's a tough sell if you don't know what QI is, but it's a really good show. It's on BBC iPlayer. If you get a chance to see that, then do so. Previous ones I watched on there were The Young Ones. It's quite a manic show starring Nigel Planer, Aid Edmondson and Rick Mao. But there's quite a few gems in there. So I'm going for QI. Basically, if you don't know QI, they take a letter of the alphabet. The first series is all about A, so the subjects are all given the letter A. And it's quite clever to get a show commissioned, because then if it gets commissioned, then you can go all the way through to Z. Apparently, there's a few other versions of this abroad. I think Holland have got a version of QI. If you're living abroad outside the UK, is there a version of QI on your TV boxes, and is it still going? So there we go. So it's QI and Boris Johnson. So, and the cost of living as well. The cost of living, that's a crazy thing. So there will be more games going up next week. If you're a member, thank you. There's a join button. It's not compulsory by any means, but click on that join button to see what it's about. That would help me a great deal, so I didn't have to work quite as hard. I've been covering like COVID shifts, which I've had to. The annoying thing is they haven't been full days. They've been like 3 hours here, 4 hours there, which upsets this completely. That I try and hold in. So there haven't been any like live streams for a little bit, which I apologise for, because that's when the community come together, and I think we have our most fun there. Yes, right, talking about the members, I'm going to give you some shout outs now. If you're on the second tier and above, I can shout out anything you're doing if you want me to, and if you don't want me to, well, fair enough, but just drop me a message there. So, I know a lot of people come and go, so thank you to the people that have stayed with it there. Sometimes I get complaints, not from the members, that I'm not doing enough, but you know, I'm just one man, and I do as much as I can. Quite often I'll do a recommended video. I'm not sure the people have actually watched that video, and then they'll recommend 3 or 4 others, and that's just more work. So for every video I do, if I'm recommending 3 or 4, I should do it. It's never going to end, but I have to try and put that to the back of my mind there. It's all about having fun. It's all about stress busting, my own and yours as well. And together we're greater than the sum of our parts, which hopefully comes across. It's not a serious channel by any means. I will give you some technical information here and there. Sometimes I get a comment that lasts about 10 paragraphs long telling me everything I've done wrong. Don't answer it, man. The channel's not to do that. It's about being the kid playing the game, not necessarily reading the instructions. But you know this if you've watched this far into the video because you're into it. You're into it. So second tier and above people, I appreciate everyone on all tiers. I think it starts out about $1.99, but if you're on the second tier and above as well, then excellent. So big thank you this time round to Lemmy Barnett. Thank you, Lemmy. Grey Hulk 2, the guy that helped me with the Commodore 64 type stuff. Gypsum Fantastic, thank you Gypsum. Paul Monaghan, thank you Paul. Adam Phillips, we'll try and get some live streams going again. Thank you. Big thank you to Clinton Johnson and my friends on the old Twitter box. If you want to follow me on Twitter, Jenkins7Nick. I do put links to the videos that go up on there eventually during the day as well as the Ko-Fi page, the coffee page, so thank you. If you want to see everything that's attached to the channel, if you go to the channel page by clicking on my user avatar, I think there's a few icons in the top right, I think, every ways of supporting the channel. Big thank you to Avenging Lettuce, thank you Avenging Lettuce, David B73, Snuffkin Matt, thank you Snuffkin Matt. I won't ask you how you got that name, but it's a rather cool name. Big thanks to Over Brinkman, one of my fans on the old Facebook there, Pete James, Jason Arnott's Terrifying House of Obsession, so check out that YouTube channel as well. Jason Arnott's Terrifying House of Obsession. Keep doing what you're doing, you do a very good job, sir. Big thank you GTB Films, N Barrett, thank you N Barrett, Ratty, Malad1, Alf Fairweather, big hello to you Alf. Thank you, huge thanks to Nikki S, thank you Nikki, and Claire Johnson. What Host Snorkers, very active on Twitter and cosplay, so thank you, keep doing what you're doing as well, always good to see. Big thanks to Jeffrey Searby, and also to the great Steve Norman. Now, if you watched any of these before, you know that Steve runs the retro site retroarcadia.blog, a really well-written blog, lots and lots of content on there now, well worth checking out, retroarcadia.blog, updated 2 or 3 times a week now, I believe. Recent post he's covered, which you might want to read there, well, I'm sure you do want to read it, is My Life with Star Wars Arcade. Always shows good screenshots and good information as well. Go through that there, and also as well he has a weekly spotlight where he looks briefly at games he's been playing during the week, and it's always quite interesting there. When I look at the weekly spotlight, quite often there's games that I haven't played or haven't heard of as well. So Star Wars Arcade is a good one as well. I've looked at that on quite a few systems. Atari 2600, it was on there, amazingly. The arcade's got the speech, of course, and Amiga's showing some of it, but the arcade is the definitive and the best versions. I have a look at that. Once again, that's retroarcadia.blog. Fantastic work, Steve. Good stuff to see. Massive thank you, huge thank you, in fact, to Steve Q. Thank you, Steve, for all your continued support. Also to Phil Hill. Thank you, Phil. Chono Baggy. Chono Baggy is a part of the cosplayers on Facebook. It's Copycats Cosplay. I'll put up links for all of these. So Copycats Cosplay, have a look at that. Throw it a few likes there. People put a lot of effort into their cosplay stuff, and some of the best stuff I've seen. They go out quite a lot. As too, it's quite an active site based on the West, that's a planet I've never heard of. They're based in the West Midlands, not the place I just said. So have a look at that. Copycats Cosplay. All the K's, but C for cosplay. If you're on Facebook, give that a follow as well, which I've done. Good stuff. Big thanks to Jason Holmes, too. Thank you. Now, a few of you are on the upper tier, In Space Baby. As I always joke, if I had 50 of you like that, then I will be full-time practically straight away. So thank you. Big thank you to S-Jab, hooray! Big thank you to Martin R, hurrah! Big thank you to Ross Bossy, hooray! Now, Ross, you emailed me to do some more speech for Super Pixel 3D Grand Prix. I haven't forgotten about it. I will get onto the case as quickly as I can. What are you talking about everyone else saying to Nick? Well, Ross Bossy is a game coder. He's working on Super 3D Pixel Grand Prix. I do some of the voice work for it, but I need to do a bit more. I'll fit it in somehow. But check out Ross Bossy's itch site. So it's ross.bossy.itch.io. there. There's ross.bossy.itch.io. There's a number of games are there already. If you want to download that, to get a sample of his work, including Re-Enduro, Re-Exevious, there, unofficial sequels to two great games. There, and also Nifty Lifty 2, which is awesome. We reviewed all of those, but Super 3D Pixel Grand Prix, work started on that again in development. It's looking absolutely fantastic. But anyway, I got to do some more speech on it. So rossbossy.itch.io, support Ross there. Thank you very much, Ross. Big thank you to Colin Hode. Hooray! You're great, Colin. Good man. Big thank you to Richard Mitten. Hurrah! Thank you. I didn't add this as a poet saying hurrah to everyone, but I've got to continue now. A massive thank you to Tom. Yay! I chucked in a yay. I hope you like that, Tom. My friend in Australia, Graham Vedke. Thank you very much, Graham. And also as well, our newest in-space baby person, Dogs. Hurrah! Thank you very much. Now, already I don't know what the lighting is on this, but I'm stuck with it because I've got to do it all in one take. Hooray! I haven't really coughed, and I haven't really needed this red stuff. I think it's apple and blackcurrant anyway. So what can we say about this then? Basically, Boris Johnson out. Thank you to the members. Thank you for watching the previous games. The 6 games gone up. If you want to show them some love and you haven't already done so, please do that. QI, that's a good show on the BBC iPlayer. Might not have... It's not like Game of Thrones or super funny, exciting. It's quite intelligent. QI, quite interesting, really. And also as well, the cost of living. Lurpak butter. I'm a flora man. Flora man. I am a flora man. If Flora are watching, you can send me a load of free butter now. I should have gone for chocolate or beer. Anyway, never mind. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great weekend. I'm at work as you're listening to this, probably. It's probably a fire in bed. But anyway, I'll do as much as I possibly can. A couple of videos will be going up on Saturday, the ZX Spectrum ones, and a couple of videos on Sunday. Yes, I don't know how I do it, but I do. And I'll always do it as long as you're watching them, as long as you're supporting me. So thank you. What a crazy world we're living in, I think Jamiroquai once said, but with a larger hat on than this. So till next time, thank you for watching the video, if you've watched it this far. Take great care of yourself. If you haven't subscribed already, please do that as well, because you can subscribe for free. So till next time, I've been Nick, you've been you. And till next time, take great care of yourself, and a very fond goodbye.
Goodbye, E.
And Jenkin.